Hi everybody, good afternoon. Welcome to the LSA and AdBuilder webinar, What It Means for Your Business. And my name is Greg Sterling. And I'll be together with Jill from Recast, Jill Wright from Recast. I'll be taking you through the different benefits of the combined organization, what we each offer, and what you can enjoy as members or clients, as well as some free trial opportunities that we can talk about at the end. So your questions will be answered at the end. You can submit your questions online and we'll take those. You can submit them at any time during the presentation and we'll take them at the end and do our best to answer them as fully as we can. For sales inquiries, we've got an email address at the end if you want to get a customized proposal or you want to talk about your particular situation. So let's get into it. So after many months of discussions and increasing interest, we came together as an organization on May 18th, and LSA formally acquired AdBuilder's assets, which include Recast and Creative Outlet, and Jill will be talking about those in more detail a little bit later. Okay, and many of you on the call already know a great deal about LSA and our members or companies that we regularly deal with, and probably vice versa for AdBuilder, but we're trying to provide that information to those on the webinar who are unfamiliar with our respective organizations. So there'll be more on LSA services and AdBuilder services later on, but LSA is a trade organization that is focused on an ecosystem of companies that are in the local media and marketing space. And Jill, why don't you give us a kind of quick oh, this is where I'm sorry. I'm supposed to introduce myself. So I told you my name, but I'm the VP of Strategy and Insights for LSA. And Jill, why don't you introduce yourself briefly, and then I'll come back.
Sure, thanks, Greg. My name is Jill Wright. I'm the president of AdBuilder. And as Greg said, I'm very familiar with most of you. A lot of you might know us as Multi-Ad. We've been around since 1945. The company has really started to help newspapers get the content they need to build local advertising. So obviously a lot has changed since 1945, but the local focus is still there for us. AdBuilder has been our division name. You might have known us with Quickie, our cars, a lot of different areas to help support local advertising. But AdBuilder has primarily always been about artwork and co-op. So Recast and Creative Outlet are our products, our core products. We've primarily been in the newspaper industry, but we've been very media focused. We do have Yellow Pages, some ad agencies, broadcasts that subscribe to our products. We've got 25 people working out of Peoria, Illinois. And with that group, we have sales and service, so your sales reps, your account managers. We have graphic artists and designers along with the digital production team. And then we have our Recast team, which is primarily made up of research and manufacturer contacts. So similar to LSA, we're very targeted to being able to help media companies grow their local advertising.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jill. And so the primary but not exclusive reason for our combination of the two organizations is the CoOp Opportunity, which is circled here. These are different badges that reflect different programs and different events that the LSA puts on or puts together, and we'll go through some of these in more detail later. But CoOp is the big opportunity here that we both recognize and was the impetus for our coming together. So I'm sure that the majority of people on the call are familiar, at least in passing, with CoOp advertising. But for those that may not be, it's basically a scenario where brands and manufacturers agree to share costs with local retailers or help subsidize certain kinds of marketing programs to essentially be a kind of a local advertising vehicle for those brands and let consumers know where they can buy those products in their local markets. And it's a giant opportunity, really, and pool of money. These numbers on here may be quite conservative. There have been a number of estimates about the value of the market in total, as well as the amounts of money that are tapped into every year and actually utilized. And the $36 billion, I think, is quite a conservative number. It may be quite a bit higher. most brands, most manufacturers have some version of these programs, and a majority of these funds, or a very substantial number of these funds, are not utilized either because people are unaware of the programs, whether the media company or the local dealer or retailer, or there's compliance and bureaucratic rules that have to be followed, and that creates a certain amount of friction for the redemption of these program funds. So there are a lot of benefits to everybody in the ecosystem. Obviously, the local retailer and dealer benefits by getting access and being able to increase his or her or their marketing spend. The media channel, media partner gets additional money to distribute on its owned and operated properties, or if it has some sort of agency relationship with the local advertiser, that money can be put into programs like search marketing, website development, display advertising, etc. And this can help drive retention, acquire prospects, and reduce overall advertiser churn, which everybody's interested in. So there's lots of different benefits to utilizing these funds. The two organizations have two programs, and before the combination they were competitive in many respects, but we felt that we would be much stronger together, and indeed we are. And LSA had a variety of programs tied to CoOp, as did AdBuilder, which we'll hear about in more detail later on. So this is a little bit more about the LSA CoOp program. Proprietary database of roughly 2,000 programs. It was a raw data file. And then customer service, a service bureau where people would help media companies and sales channels access these funds and help with compliance. And now, Jill, I'd like to turn it over to you to go into the Recast program in a little bit more detail.
Okay, great. Well, I won't go through the slide by bullet, but as you can see, Recast stands for Retail Co-op Advertising Services. So Recast has been part of our product mix since 1982, and traditionally our whole focus has been to help media companies get tools necessary to, one, locate manufactured co-op dollars, and two, give them the ideas and the means necessary to sell more advertising into their local retailers. So if you can look at the bullet points with our database, and I'll show you a little bit more detail in an upcoming slide, but we do have a database of over 8,000 plans. That database also comes in a mobile app form. That's good for both an iPhone and Android. The daily e-leads, what we really wanted to do is be proactive and give managers and sales reps at that media organization, give you special promotions and events, do the research for you so you're armed with the tools needed to go out there and talk to your retailers and your SMBs. The accrual research, what we do on that one, and bear with me with my math, I always go with easy math. It's probably not truly a real accrual base, but what we do with that is we work to find out how much money your SMBs have. So on behalf of your hardware store, we would reach out to whatever their brand that they sell, find out that they spent, say, $50,000 with that brand. The brand would pay them back % in an advertising fund, so that way you can go in and report to that store that they earned $2,500 to run ads for that specific brand. So that's kind of the accrual, the co-op aspect, all in one little nutshell. So you can see that we have dedicated account managers. One of the things we pride ourselves on is to have a customer service second to none, where you have a dedicated account manager that can help you with training, be it onboard training, new product training, training for your clients, whatever your needs are. We've got your expert here in Peoria to help you out. And then the targeted selling ideas, it's a section of our website where we go in, we find specific trends, selling seasons, like, did you know today is National Donut Day? How that would tie into co-op, I don't know, but I do know it's Donut Day. So things along those lines. We'll make sure that we get you anything necessary as far as special holidays to be.
Jill, this is obviously Greg, since I'm the only other person speaking. You get on a call and you have to identify yourself, but it's self-evident who I am in this particular case. So I was taken on a tour of the mobile app and some of the related sort of back-end stuff, and I was very impressed by it. A lot of thought and energy has gone into that. So I think that's a great asset that I know people will be interested in as they get into this stuff. So I just wanted to call that out as an impressive part of this.
things. We knew that a lot of times sales reps aren't going to be able to have access to their computer all the time. If you're in there and you're in a call, you want to be able to pull that up. You've got it right on your phone. You can tell what brands, what manufacturers have CoOp available right at your fingertips. So the next slide kind of talks a little bit about Recast. It's very deep as far as you've got your CoOp systems, but then we also have Recast it as a true software. So where you see it's a SaaS, that software is a solution. So Recast is a standalone tool that will allow you as an individual to manage your entire company's CoOp from start to finish. So you can go in, you can keep track of all of your clients, you can keep track of all of their claiming, their invoicing, you have the ability to pull reports, you can manage your sales reps, who's associated to what account. If you have employee turnover, you can manage all of that right through the Recast product. And if you are an organization that is part of a larger group, you can manage your multiple properties all through Recast. So it's a very strong, robust tool that I would say we've got a little over 200 people taking advantage of this software to manage their entire CoOp product. And we have seen some of our clients manage millions of dollars through this CoOp system. So it is a great tool, and it also has an API integration now that can allow you to integrate into your CRM tools or your accounting tools such as Salesforce. So if you want to go into the next slide, we can go into...
Jill, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so we got a report that there's some difficulty hearing you, that there's something going on with the sound. If people on the line can hear Jill, can you just indicate that in a question? Just please let us know if you can hear her. Okay, so people are saying they can hear. Yes, I hear you. I can hear you. Okay, please continue, Jill. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay. I'm sure that, you know, my entire team would be happy to be the ones to say, no, we can't hear her. But anyway, if we can go on to the next slide. This is an example of what the CoOp plan looks like. So this one is specific to and more. So I'm just going to kind of go down the left-hand side so you can see some of the information that's on there. We have the ability to do print. You can email it. As you can see up in the top left, there's the dealer locator, so we allow you to go in and see what dealers in your particular zip code have that brand. The manufacturer address and contact, we will give you who you would need to talk to at Benjamin Moore to find out more information, who the CoOp administrator is at that organization. And then we also put the information in there about what percentage or what their accrual percent would be. So where I had made reference to a 5% accrual back, this is where you would find that on the plan. On the CoOp claims address, a lot of times the people who are managing the claiming and the billing could be separate from the person who is the actual contact at the manufacturer. So we make sure we give you both of the contacts as well. And then at the bottom where you can see this trade promotion structure, this is where we really go into the details of the plan. We would go through, discuss what medias they support. Is it online, print, yellow pages, broadcast, outdoor? And if so, what do they want out of the specifications for each type of product? So it goes into a lot of details. This would also be the area where you would find the specifics that you would need to follow in order to get the money back for the retailer. And then also details on how they would want the claims and everything processed. So on the right-hand side where you can see the artwork and forms and the arrow, kind of just to touch on some of that, like I said, we've got a research team that goes through and actually will see if there's anything special going on for that particular manufacturer. If so, we will link over to that. A lot of times the manufacturers want the advertising material in the hands of the media. So if they do, we make sure that we give you access to that as well. So you can kind of see the general artwork category, which is highlighted. That is a link over to Creative Outlet, and I'll show you that in a couple slides down. But if we can go ahead and go to the next slide, I can show you details on a promotion. We'll take a second to have you guys take this. Sticking with Benjamin Moore, this is something that our research team went out and found that Benjamin Moore is really promoting these two new types of coding. So you can go through, see what they're doing through May, through June 27th. They're giving extra incentives for anything for that campaign. So you can go through, see what the concept is, what the artwork would be, and if you see down in the bottom left-hand corner, it's a 2% accrual, and then all the details on the reimbursement. So this is the kind of material when I mentioned that you would get an email, you would get daily emails with this kind of content but we also house these online in our targeting list. So if you were going in to call on a hardware store, you would want to load up with as many hardware-specific content such as this that you would be able to access. Okay. Now I'm going to move into Creative Outlet, and this might be a little different for some of you that are very familiar with CoOp, but Creative Outlet is really what the Multi-Ad company was founded on. So as I made reference to coming up with content to make sure local dealers and local advertisers can have content to build their ads, this is the genesis of that in 2016. So with About LSA with Creative Outlet, we are a very business-to-business site, very focused on making sure that we get the content needed for your local advertisers. So we have over 1 million pieces of content, photography, illustrations, headlines, frames, and a lot more. And we really show you how these pieces can be used to build advertising and marketing material for your clients as well, because we have editable spec templates on the site as well. So before we go into some of the additional services, you might be thinking, that sounds familiar, like a lot of different stock agencies, but what makes us so different? The biggest thing is our content is created specifically for media companies. So we go through your selling seasons, we go through your holidays, and we make sure that we give you the content you need to build ads and marketing for your local retailers. We plan everything about 6 months out and furnish it to you 2 months out, so you have a ton of time to have that selling cycle out there. All of our content, it can be used for online advertising or print-based advertising. And as I mentioned, we do have a ton of editable spec templates. So we take the material and we build an ad for a hardware store, a pizza palace, a movie theater. So you're not going in with just a random idea, you're going in with a true concept spec'd out. And once again, we have a dedicated account manager, so once you're in there, you're having some issues, can't find something, they're there specifically for your account. We also have monthly reference guides that show you in a printed format exactly what we have that's new to the site every month. But one of the things that we're really proud of with Creative Outlet is that while we can create a lot of content out of Peoria, we have found partners that can help provide things that we can't. So automotive images, food photography, additional photography resources, we have partners where we can make this a true one-stop shop for you. So it's the basis of what we were founded on, and it still has a high value to our clients today. If you can go to the next slide. And this is just kind of an example of what you can find with a search. Now, when we were showing you on the CoOp side the Benjamin Moore, this is what you would find if you linked over to the complementary artwork. So you can see it's very paint-driven, but very generic in nature. So these will be used in a variety of different manners. You can tie this in with CoOp to the point where you can get it, try to get it pre-approved. So if you were going in with Benjamin Moore, you could utilize some of this to build an ad, try to get that approved. But you can also use this for logo design, like that paintbrush in the upper right-hand corner would be perfect for a paint shop, online content, banners, any kind of marketing material. You can see that everything is available in color and black and white. And a lot of the things that we provide, it's what's called vectored art. And this vectored art allows you to use this on any size. So you can blow this up to fit onto a billboard or the side of a bus, and it won't lose any of its resolution. So it's a very, very powerful illustration tool. On this page, this is actually something that you can kind of see the headline. We've got advanced search. You can search by products. This happens to be something that was provided for July of this year. So you can see some of the different things on there in the top row over to the right. You can see 1-minute workshop. We give you techniques and tips to help you make ads faster, some different design ideas. We give you headings like the 4th of July. We give ideas for niche publications. There's a lot of special sections in the newspaper, but a lot of magazine ideas, covers for the niche publication areas. And as I mentioned before, we do touch on holidays quite a bit. So my favorite thing on this, and this is really what I'm going to want to end with, if you see the one day only up in the upper left-hand corner, because we do have a staff of in-house artists in Peoria, we're able to do what nobody else can do, where we have a product code we'll create it. So a great example, you're talking to a customer, they want to do a one-day only sale, you go in, you look, you can't find it, you can contact us and we will actually create a customized piece specific to your client's needs. Some can be very specific, very general in nature like this, or we've had a chiropractor spine before and after with the curve and then straight posture. But we've also had some really complex requests. Someone was doing a niche publication and they wanted to do it on what is your definition of hell. We had to create a cover for that, but it was great because our artists got a chance to really work with the client, create something, and it's something that once our clients take advantage of it, we're able to really develop a brand for them as well. So we've got one client that works with an auto dealer who will only run headless images where he can put his heads of his auto sales reps on these bodies, but we've done everything from Wizard of Oz type of themes to hula, to circus. It's great, and our client is able to get extra advertising based on the fact that we were able to provide them the content they needed.
Okay, I think this is back to me, right? So thanks very much, Jill, for that overview. I think there's a lot of great assets there and support to help media organizations access co-op and with all this great creative library and services. So this slide literally and figuratively is kind of the money slide here, in the sense that this is the combination of the two organizations. So we've got this very large combined program database of all the different brand and manufacturer programs in a single place, making it much more convenient, much more efficient for media organizations that want to experiment with or tap more deeply into co-op funds. We've got a lot of humans to provide support and services, so that's the combination of the LSA Service Bureau and Recast service account reps provides a lot of support to organizations, and then these creative services that you were just hearing about. So that adds a whole additional dimension to help deliver ads that can be pre-approved or to expedite the process of placing ads, tapping into these funds. So a little bit more about LSA, and I know many of you are familiar with the LSA and what we do, and so I won't go into this in extended depth, and you can ask questions if you have specific questions. So LSA was founded in 1975 originally as the Yellow Pages Trade Association. So as Recast was AdBuilder and Recast were on the newspaper side, we were on the Yellow Pages side, and then as the market changed dramatically over the course of years, in 2011, what was then the YPA rebranded as the Local Search Association to reflect a new emphasis on digital media and marketing and a more diversified kind of approach to membership and services. And then just last year we decided to rebrand in a kind of soft rebranding to LSA, because we feel like local search is a powerful concept, but it's also too limited for what we're doing now, because we're really about cross-platform, online to offline, and a range of different media and marketing scenarios. So we felt that was more representative. These are the areas of focus, some of which we've already talked about. We're focused on enterprises that sell locally. That includes all the brands and manufacturers, as well as national retailers and franchises. We're also focused on local businesses, independent small businesses, and really the kind of theme here that ties all of this together is the way that consumers interact with media to make purchase decisions that are then generally fulfilled offline. Here are some of the members. Some of you may be from these companies, primarily focused on North America, but also international members in many different countries. And we work with the Asian Local Search and Media Association and CINDO in Europe in cooperative ways. LSA does its own proprietary research on consumer behavior and advertiser behavior, and that gets expressed in a lot of different forms: reports, infographics, charts. We're building an extensive charts database. We're building a lot of infographics, and we have a capability to create custom infographics and collateral for sales support. So there's a lot of stuff we're doing with our own data, with third-party data to make it accessible, make it useful to our members. So one of the other primary things that the research feeds into is market education. We're trying to evangelize local media and location-based marketing. We're trying to educate at the national level, at the small business level, and you know, I'm one of several people who goes out and speaks, and many of you know me, having seen me at different conferences. And so we continue to do that, and we're trying to, you know, help advocate on behalf of the industry and help people understand the fact that this is really the most compelling part of digital media and marketing. Events are part of this. Many of you have attended events, and we're doing a lot of interesting things with events. We have larger conferences. We have local business boot camps, which I'll talk about in a little more detail. We have networking events that we call think tanks. We're building out some, we help support customer events, so we do agenda and we can help support planning for customer events. So there's a lot of different things we're doing with events, and I think that with the inclusion of the AdBuilder assets and personnel, we're going to do some really interesting stuff around co-op and best practices in education there as well in the next year. Oh, and I should mention the PLACE conference, which we don't have a slide on, which is coming up in Chicago in September, and September 21st. That's a one-day event focused on proximity marketing, indoor location, location analytics, and it's really about consumer behavior and technology and enterprises and brands and how they're utilizing these in trying to you know, reach consumers, get consumers into stores, and what they're doing with that data. So that's going to be a very, very interesting event, and we'll be formally unveiling the agenda shortly. But you can go to placeconference.net and learn more. Oh, and this is the Small Business Bootcamp that I alluded to just a second ago. So we've been doing these now for about a year and a half. I think we're on number 9, going from different cities to different city and bringing small businesses into a room. We're not the only ones doing this kind of thing, but these are really interesting events. We have exhibitors and speakers, and these are like large focus groups. It's rare that sales reps and organizations, marketing people get a chance to talk to a large group of small businesses in a concentrated fashion. The business owners are really grateful to have access to this information, and these events are just really terrific for everybody involved. Coming out of that initiative, we started a website called Marketing Bits, which is designed to provide digital education and practical advice to local businesses. Many of the content pieces are from our members and partners. We're, to use the overused word, curating all of this and trying to provide the best of the available information to help local businesses really do, you know, understand what they need to do and give them some insight into some of these different channels, because they're very confused, and many of them, you know, have a partial or limited view of all of this. So we see this as something that we're going to continue building out. There's a lot of exciting things that we're trying to do with this whole small business direct outreach. More to come on that. One of the things that we're trying to do for our members is provide visibility and exposure. We're not a PR instrument, but we do give people the opportunity to use our blog. We write about companies. We have, obviously, as I mentioned, events where companies can speak and present themselves. We do reports, thought leadership reports, some of which are sponsored, some of which are not. But all of this really is toward the same end, which is to educate the market and help brands, help consumers, help agencies and others really understand the role that location-based media and marketing play in the media ecosystem. So the point of this webinar was really to introduce LSA to the AdBuilder side, the clients of that on that side, and give you some sense of what we can offer and what we do, and conversely what Recast Creative Outlet bring to the LSA membership. So we're offering special introductory pricing and discounts and opportunities to try some of these things. We also make them available to non-members, but the pricing is somewhat different. And we're not really going to get into pricing today because many of these things are very highly customized, so it would be hard for us to talk about that. So we won't field specific pricing questions, but we do have an email address where you can, inquire, and we'll set up a call and talk about this in your particular context. So this is essentially the offer, the trial, the free trial for people who want to take advantage of it, and that's on the LSA side. This is what we're offering, and then correspondingly on the AdBuilder side, this is what's available. Okay, great. Thanks very much, everybody. Communications@thelsa.org. We'll route your question to the appropriate person, get back to you in 24 hours. And thanks again. We look forward to talking to you more about these different programs and offerings.